the All or Nothing series that's on Amazon that came out from your team last year that's out right now, for a lot of people, to see Cam, one of the guys, has been surprising. You know, to see him mixed up. Obviously, they had a good one great scene was him and Luke Kuechly going back and forth with your former teammate Josh Norman. I mean, seeing Cam right in the mix with all the guys, again, has been surprising to some. I'm wondering what you can tell me on that front. Why you think maybe some people will be surprised by that, Greg?
Yeah, I haven't seen the show yet, so you know, I've seen little clips and stuff, and I've read what people have talked about and whatnot. But you know, that's the way it's been since he's been here. I don't know what I guess I do kind of know what the national kind of thought of him is, and the perspective of the outside is of him. But you know, inside the building since he's gotten here has really been no different than what you just said. He's been one of the guys. He's a fun guy to have around. He's got good energy. He's got good positive impact on the guys around him. He brings a lot of energy to practice, to meetings. He's got a funny side that brings a lot of humor when things get tight. And he's been now for 8 years, just like everybody else. One of the guys in the middle of the jokes, in the middle of the fun. He takes his own. He gives a little of his own. So I'm glad that they were able to kind of capture some of those moments and kind of share that with people who don't get to see him as much as we do on a daily basis around here, for sure.
Well, in terms of being locked in on what I guess the job is, which a quarterback certainly of his stature and certainly of his ability and success would show, one thing that leapt out at me that clearly he's focusing on something other than just pop culture is somebody had to explain to him and others what Hamilton was. And that got picked up. Greg, you were the guy who was explaining what Hamilton musical is about and who's in it, Greg. What gives there?
I loved it. I went and saw Hamilton when it first came out.
Right. I did too.
A couple of years ago, and it was just amazing. It was what everyone, it's one of those few times in life where people hype something up, and you're like, all right, I got to go see it. And most of the time you walk out and you're like, okay, it was good, maybe not as much as the hype, but like you walk out and you're like, wow, that was just incredibly different and unique and something that you're just not accustomed to seeing. So I don't know how it came up. It came up, we were sitting on the bench. I saw the clip online, and the guys weren't really sure what it was. And as you can see from the conversation, it was really me trying to explain Hamilton as a hip-hop musical Broadway play to a bunch of guys who didn't really understand the whole. It's a very interesting conversation. I don't know how much they cared, but once they gave me the opening, I was going to be sure that by the end of that conversation, they were at least going to go home and Google Hamilton and at least get an idea of what it was all about. Because
I guess if Hamilton doesn't show up on the game film, it doesn't matter. Is that what you're telling me?
I know. I asked him. I said, "You guys are on your phones 12 hours a day. Not one of you on social media came across Hamilton. It was like the most talked about pop culture event going on for like 6 months a couple of years ago. Like, you guys don't know what that musical is, and Lin-Manuel Miranda, like you never saw that?
Right.
They were like, no. I was like, you guys got to get off video games and start getting out a little bit.
And it's interesting too. I know you're teammates with Cam and you've known him for a long time. You're the same height as him. If he asked you to get up out of your seat for the transatlantic flight that's coming up for the Panthers London game that I'll be calling shortly, would you give him your seat? Unlike
no
the
chance.
past.
No chance.
What was it? $1,500?
He's got to book his flight earlier.
Yeah, I mean, and the $1,500. I guess he needs to up that seat change fee to get that.
Yeah, he doesn't understand supply and demand. that price. If you're going to pay a guy that short notice, you're going to have to come out of your pocket a little more than that.
Yeah, I thought so too. I mean, he gave it a whirl though. Didn't work out.
I give him credit. He gave it a shot. You can't hate the hustle. He gave it his best shot.
For more of the Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.